Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller. Weather coverage you can count on. The Live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
We had some flooding rain earlier today. Now just a few light showers we're working with, and these will be moving out of here very soon, making for a very dry and sunny start to the weekend. I'll have all the details on your forecast coming up.
Now on News Channel 6 at 4, a clash at the border. The annual bash ahead of the Georgia-South Carolina football game. We'll take you there. And a staff shortage at the McCormick Sheriff's Office. What's being done to increase the number of deputies and keep students or residents safe. Plus, putting a price tag on universal school meals in South Carolina. The new legislation lawmakers are considering as Your News at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first we want to check in with meteorologist Jenna Petracci for a first check of the forecast. Jenna?
Well, Jenny, we had a lot of rain come through earlier this morning. That led to some flash flood warnings in some of our western counties. Check out these rainfall totals over the last 24 hours. Around 4.5 inches in parts of Emmanuel County. A few areas of around 2 to 4 inches, but that's only for around half the CSRA. The other half, nearly pretty much dry, barely any rain, just a trace amount picked up in the metro over the last 24 hours. And now all these showers are to the south of I-20, anywhere from Gibson over into Allendale and parts of Bamberg County. One spotty shower up in Columbia County. But the good news is that this is all very light rain now, nothing heavy, and definitely no thunderstorms that we have to worry about today. Skies are starting to clear now. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over at the airport. And the good news today is that our temperatures are so much cooler than they have been due to the rain and clouds this morning. We're sitting in the 70s and even 69 degrees in Millen, 73 in Augusta, 78 in Thompson, so a little bit warmer in some spots. In fact, it's 87 in McCormick. So we do have a big variety of temperatures depending on where you saw rain or not. It's going to be a little bit warmer. 78 in Lincolnton, 73 in Edgefield, and 68 in Gibson. So all of us at least a little bit cooler than yesterday. 2 degrees cooler in Aiken, but 10 degrees cooler in Millen. 13-degree drop in temperatures in Barnwell and Allendale. And also our dew points are beginning to fall. Now that that front is pushing down towards our south, we're seeing the upper 50s in Aiken. So that feels a little bit nicer than it has over the last few days when we had those dew points in the mid-70s. Winds are a little breezy as well, 8 miles per hour in Aiken, 5 in Augusta, 3 down in Millen, 7 in Wrightsville. And as I mentioned, that front is now to the south of us, but we have another disturbance across Alabama. Overall, plenty of moisture around the two-state, and that's what's allowing for a few showers still, but drier air will continue to move in tonight. And if you're headed out for any late-night plans, it's going to be mostly clear by 8 o'clock, 73 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour. So those skies continue to clear with the drier air moving in just in time for the weekend. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday for any outdoor plans, but the rain and storms will move back in on Sunday, and our high temperatures will continue to stay below average in the low 80s. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up, but back to you, Jenny.
All right, Jenna, we appreciate it. Happening now, the 20. Its mission is to find, recover, identify, and return the remains of missing soldiers. So far this year, they've identified the remains of 81 people. With the season of respiratory illnesses upon us, pediatric doctors are sharing important information on how to prevent the spread of RSV. RSV is a respiratory virus that causes cold-like symptoms that can become severe. Doctors say some of the best ways to prevent the spread are by washing your hands frequently, wearing masks, and getting vaccinated. They tell us as many as 160,000 older adults are hospitalized with RSV each year in the U.S. About 2.1 million young children are diagnosed with the virus.
The patients that are at the highest risk are going to be our younger patients. So anyone really under 2 years, they're at risk for having complications with RSV. Also if there's comorbidities, so prematurity, if the baby was in the NICU prior to this, or if they have like congenital heart disease or other lung problems, they're going to be at higher risk of having complications.
The The FDA and CDC recommend a newly approved antibody that can protect children up to 19 months old against RSV. For more information, just go to our website, WJBF.com. State lawmakers continue to explore best spelling tip ever, just throw it down the middle. Practice is open now for Aiken, Saluda, and Edgefield residents with disabilities. Some pretty good weather for Friday Night Football, but will those conditions last into the weekend? Let's hope so. Jennifer Trotty answers the question when we return.
I'm attorney.
In Atlanta, cars were left partially submerged in floodwaters following heavy rain overnight. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued, and residents and surrounding communities were told to brace for ongoing showers and strong winds. According to local media reports, about 2 inches of rain fell in less than 2 hours.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Well, just like Jenny mentioned, over in Atlanta, they had flooding rain. Well, we had some of that here as well. We had some flash flood warnings issued for some of our western counties around Sparta, Gibson, Rennes, down to Louisville, and even parts of Emmanuel County picked up over 5 inches of rain just this morning alone. Now things are starting to improve, though. I'm just seeing some light showers on Live Viper 6. Around half the CSRA is completely dry, and luckily we're done with the heavy rain and no thunderstorms in the forecast tonight or for our Saturday. In fact, Saturday looks awesome, and we'll get into that in just a moment. In the meantime, still some lingering cloud cover, though. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam from Augusta Marriott. The good news is that the clouds and the rain today helps keep our temperatures on the cooler side. We're sitting at only 73 degrees right now with a dew point of 62. Overall, pretty nice today. We'll take it. The lower temperatures, definitely a nice change of pace. We're at 79 in Washington, 80 degrees in Lincolnton, so a little bit warmer in some of our northern counties that have stayed dry today. And notice the sunny icons as well, 86 up in McCormick, but we're seeing only upper 60s in Waynesboro and Millen, 73 in Sylvania, 72 in Allendale. So these are the counties that have dealt with the rain and the clouds today. And you can see the dew points are also higher there as well, more so in those mid to upper 60s where there's more moisture. But we're now dropping into the upper 50s in Aiken, dew point of 63 in Edgefield, and 60 degrees in McCormick. You can also see the clearing skies in Saluda, parts of Aiken, McCormick, around Clarksville Lake. Still that cloud cover, though, south of I-20 with the scattered showers. This stationary front is to our south now. That'll continue to limit our rain chances the further south it makes it. We do have this disturbance, though, over the southeast, keeping a good amount of moisture still in play, but a northerly wind is helping to bring in some drier air. Now, this stationary front is also helping to keep Hurricane Lee further from parts of the East Coast. So this is expected to make landfall somewhere in between New Brunswick, Canada, and Nova Scotia. So it will likely not make landfall in Maine, but it will still bring some impacts to parts of the Northeast. And it's actually even impacting parts of the South, all the way down into Florida. High surf advisory in place. That includes parts of South Carolina and Georgia. And then we see tropical storm warnings in effect for parts of New England up into Maine, along with wind advisory, flood watches, a whole lot going on up there. But the track for Lee shows it eventually weakening down to a tropical storm by the time it makes landfall. A very long lifespan overall for Lee. We've been watching it for weeks now. We also have Tropical Storm Margot, Tropical Depression 15 formed today, and another disturbance we'll have to watch as well. But back to our forecast here in town. Game night live tonight, going to be absolutely perfect weather. Skies continue to clear, and Saturday looks great if you're headed to Arts in the Heart. But be aware on Sunday, a lot more rain and storms headed our way, along with an increase in moisture back into those upper 60s for our dew points. And you can see on our futurecast Sunday morning, showers begin with some heavy rain moving in around 10 o'clock until noon. More showers and storms in the afternoon. Some of these could be strong, and it also could produce some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. So we'll keep you updated on that tomorrow as well. But notice the rest of next week, plenty of sunshine as we go into the first day of fall and below normal temperatures. And we'll be right back.
I want
That's
On the line from 99.99.
That's it for me today. I look forward to seeing many of you at this evening's Aiken's Choice Awards at the Convocation Center. Tiffany Hobbs will take over for me at 5 o'clock. But in the meantime, Hunter Biden gets hit with a federal indictment on gun charges after his plea deal falls through in court. News Channel 6 at 4:30 with Dee is next.
Hey guys, I'm Anna Christina, host of Local Living. Be sure to catch us every Saturday at 9:30 to find out what's happening in the CSRA.
Local Living, Saturday morning at 9:30 on News Channel 6. The live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
The rain and clouds earlier today are keeping our temperatures on the cooler side. Check this out. We're seeing some upper 60s on our map right now. Other spots a little bit warmer, but overall below average temperatures over the next several days to come. All those details are coming up.
The money is there. The cause is righteous. The world is watching. And the UAW is ready to stand up.
Now at 4:30, after weeks of negotiations, thousands of United Auto Workers are now on strike. How this impacts the country and what's being done to find middle ground. And Hunter Biden now officially indicted on gun charges. Why some lawmakers say this is just the beginning. Your news at 4:30 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4:30.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dee Griffin. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll get to those top stories in a moment, but first, let's check in with meteorologist Jennifer Tracci for a look at our weather. Jenna, some areas are seeing rain this afternoon.
That's right, Dee. Luckily, we're almost done with the rain and we're getting ready for a really nice and dry Saturday. But let's start out with a look at those 24-hour rainfall totals. I know some of you west of Augusta dealt with a lot of rain early this morning. We had flash flood warnings ongoing for several hours with over 5 inches of rain in some locations, around 4 in parts of Emmanuel County, 3 right around Swainsboro, around 2.5 in Gibson, 3.5 around Sparta and Hancock County. So notice it's just a few areas though. The rest of the CSRA pretty much completely dry. Some of you may not even know what I'm talking about when I'm showing all these rainfall totals. In fact, in Augusta, only trace amounts over the last 24 hours. Most of the rain has been focused towards the south of I-20 and a lot of our western counties. Luckily, Sparta, Sandersville, Wrightsville now getting a break with just these light scattered showers. Anywhere from, say, Rennes over into Waynesboro, Sylvania, Allendale, and parts of Bamberg County, getting some of that rain now as the skies clear. We're starting to see a little bit of sunshine here and there. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview Cam over at Augusta Marriott. Still some lingering clouds with this front, but the good news is that the clouds and the rain today are keeping our temperatures much cooler than normal. A lot of us in those low 70s and even 69 degrees in Millen, 79 though in Aiken, 10 degrees warmer there, 73 in Augusta, 78 in Thompson, Wrightsville you're at 70, Lincolnton at 80 degrees. So notice it's much cooler than yesterday, at least for a lot of us, 11 degrees cooler in Millen, 13 in Sylvania, and our dew points are also starting to drop as well. Upper 50s now in Aiken County. Still those upper 60s though, where there's the rain, where there's a lot more moisture. Winds are a little breezy right now, 5 miles per hour in Augusta, 8 in Waynesboro and Millen. There's that stationary front to our south. Still a good amount of moisture around, but that drier air will continue to filter in tonight, with us becoming mostly clear by 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Temperatures in those low to mid 70s. So we're drying out for Saturday, but rain and storms come right back on Sunday. Continued below normal temperatures though all of next week. So I'll have all those details coming up, but back to you, Dee.
All right, thanks so much, Jenna. We'll see you then. Some pretty good weather for Friday night football. Tonight, the Thompson Bulldogs will play at home against the Lucy Lady Wildcats. And Kira Goldstein joins us from another Your Hometown. And this is an exciting game. We are highlighting Thompson and McDuffie County as well. Kira.
Yeah, Dee, we are. And to highlight Thompson and McDuffie County, I am here with Carrington Begg. She's from the Chamber of Commerce. And Carrington, there are so many exciting things happening in Thompson. Can you tell me a little bit about what's coming up soon?
Yes, so right now we have our Food Truck Friday going on at the Methodist Church until 7. And then we have our 29th annual Blind Willie McTell Musical Festival coming up September 23rd. Doors open at 11. You can go to blindwillie.com to get tickets in advance. And the night before, there will be a kickoff concert downtown. It's free and it features Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones, and that is held at the Thompson Depot.
That's so exciting. And then there's also a Camellia Fest, correct? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, so on October 21st, we have our Camellia City Festival that is hosted by the Chamber, Thompson, and McDuffie County. That will be held at the Government Complex, and we usually have about 100 vendors and about 3,000 people attend that.
Wow, that is going to be a big event. If someone wants to learn more about this or maybe get tickets, where could they go to find out more about this?
So they could go to ThompsonMcDuffieChamber.com, BlindWillie.com, or visit ThompsonGeorgia.com.
Thank you so much, Carrington. We appreciate it. All right, Dee, we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Carol. About 13,000 United Auto workers are now on strike. This comes after days of failed contract negotiations between the union and the big three U.S. auto manufacturers. Rena Roy has the latest.
Solidarity forever!
United Auto Workers walking off the job.
The UAW is ready to stand up. This is our defining moment.
No deal reached last night despite weeks of negotiations between the union and the top three automakers in the U.S. GM, Ford, and Chrysler owner Stellantis.
No one wants a strike, but I respect workers' right to use their options under the collective bargaining system. And I understand the workers' frustration. Workers deserve a fair share of the benefits they help create for an enterprise.
The union says so far 12,700 workers are on strike at a Ford plant in Michigan, a GM plant in Missouri, and an Ohio Stellantis plant.
This strategy will keep the companies guessing.
UAW members had been asking for a 40% pay increase. Instead, the company's offering half of that.
We're putting a 20% gross wage rate increase along with other bonuses that come as a part of that. So this is a very, very strong financial offer. I'm extremely disappointed and frustrated that we're on strike.
The union also wants a return to pension plans, better retiree health care, and cost of living adjustments. Ford CEO calling those demands unsustainable in an industry struggling to adapt to the future.
We are one of the most important industries for jobs in America. Everyone will suffer, especially in the communities where we have plants.
A Stellantis spokesperson adds they are disappointed with the UAW's decision to strike and will take steps to protect their North American operations and the company.
And this strike could potentially affect the average consumer. If it lasts a while, dealers could run short on cars and prices could go up. Rena Roy, ABC News, Tepan, New York.
The union is seeking better pay and benefits. The walkouts happened at a GM plant in Missouri, a Stellantis facility in Ohio, and a Ford plant in Michigan. Well, the son of the sitting president of the United States indicted on federal charges. Federal officials allege Hunter Biden lied about his drug use on a gun permit application in 2018. He's now facing 3 gun-related felony charges. The indictment comes the same week Republicans launched an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden over his alleged influence on Hunter's foreign business dealings.
DOJ and the FBI and IRS have seen and would investigate what we've seen and would do this investigation. I imagine this will be the first of many indictments for Hunter Biden.
I think our Republican colleagues would probably be demanding that the charges be dropped if it were for almost any other American. They don't believe in gun charges.
And this now likely heads to trial. When that will start is not clear at this point. Well, North Carolina Representative Mark Meadows drops his request. To pause the Georgia prosecution. And the former White House Chief of Staff previously tried to get his trial moved to federal court and raised concerns he might be convicted before that could happen. However, today's ruling made that unnecessary. The IRS will not be accepting claims for a pandemic-era tax credit until 2024. That's because of a rise in fraudulent claims. New filings for the, quote, employee retention credit will also not be processed until next year. This was designed to help small businesses keep their staff during the pandemic. They still have around 600,000 claims they need to process. UNC Chapel Hill students are walking out on campus demanding change after 2 armed person alerts in the span of just a few weeks. Deanna Harley reports.
What we've been experiencing is abnormal and is totally preventable.
UNC Chapel Hill students walking out of class on Friday afternoon, days after an armed person alert prompted a lockdown at the university. It's the second alert and lockdown in a matter of weeks. Students demand action, organized the walkout, demanding stricter gun laws throughout the state.
But more immediately, they say they want changes on campus that make them feel safer.
We would love to maybe have a little bit more transparency when the alert goes out, so that students are not, sort of fearful after hearing the first initial armed persons on campus.
Students say the main purpose of the walkout is to support each other, listening to each other's frustrations and fears, and offering support student to student.
We can't work unless we heal first, so just making sure we're taking the time to heal is really important.
Students say they're also calling on lawmakers to listen to them when it comes to their experiences with gun violence on campus. We'll be right back.
News Channel 6 mobile app.
Clark Atlanta University students in Georgia forced from their dorm rooms as floodwaters rushed resident halls. Severe storms hit the state Thursday, also submerging cars in the streets and parking lots. In a statement, school officials say the students are already in new housing, and there was video on social media of water just rushing through the dorms, but everyone's okay.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Well, similar to what Dee was just talking about out in Atlanta, we had a lot of rain come through early this morning too. Now, if you're in Augusta and some of our eastern counties across the river in South Carolina, you may not know what I'm talking about. Notice these rainfall totals right at 0 inches in a lot of those counties, but across the river here in our western counties, 3.5 inches in Sparta, around an inch in parts of Louisville, but just to the north in Jefferson County, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Anywhere we're seeing this yellow color here. Same situation down in Swainsboro. So we had a lot of flash flood warning situations going on early this morning with the heavy rainfall. But the good news is that things are looking much better now. Those western counties starting to get a break. Sparta, Sandersville down to Wrightsville completely drying out now. Just some lingering light rain showers from Burke County down into parts of Allendale. Pretty dry across the metro though, with clearing skies on our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over in Aiken. Just some leftover clouds, but the good news is that the clouds and the rain kept us on the cooler side today. We only made it into the 70s today in a lot of our counties. 73 right now is the temperature here in town. A 5-mile-per-hour wind and a dew point of 62. We do have a big variety of temperatures though, depending on where you are. Our northern parts of the CSRA around Clarksville Lake definitely warmer since there was pretty much no rain today. 80 degrees in Lincolnton, 86 in McCormick, but 10 degrees cooler than that right next door in Edgefield at 76. 78 in Aiken, and 70 degrees only in Waynesboro and Millen, where it's still very cloudy. You can see those clearing conditions though. It's Luda, McCormick, Aiken, and just the showers on satellite and radar. Storms are mostly down in Florida and southern Georgia now along that stationary boundary. We also have a weak disturbance across parts of the southeast. Still a good amount of moisture around, but we'll start to see a northerly wind come in, which will dry us out. I'm also watching Hurricane Lee. This is getting ready to make landfall this weekend around the border of New Brunswick, Canada, and Nova Scotia. Impacts across all of New England and even some surf concerns across parts of the southeast. There's the track, a little bit hard to see here, but it will be weakening down to a tropical storm as once again it makes landfall this evening. We're watching more areas out in the Atlantic though. Tropical Depression 15 formed earlier today, and when we have another disturbance right next door, which will likely form too. So back here in town though, Laney versus Thompson tonight for Game Night Live. It's going to be a great night. We'll be in the low 70s, clearing skies, and a nice Saturday in store. It's going to be 82 degrees below normal and 80 degrees exactly on Sunday. But at that point, more rain and storms moving in, moisture on the rise, dew points into the upper 60s. Our futurecast showing showers early Sunday morning with some heavy rain moving in around 10 o'clock through the lunch hour, continuing until around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we start to dry out as we go into our Sunday evening. And check out the rest of the week. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures staying below normal in the low 80s as we get ready for the first day of fall. And we'll be right back.
Dr. We're stuck in Captain D's. Something about the morning makes you feel good now. You know that I love you. Good morning, Augusta. Let's see where it takes us. Good morning, Augusta.
Coming up on News Channel 6 at 5, a staff shortage at
Call today, AikenMotorcycle.net.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Black X Card or at any Security Federal Bank location. The Live 5 for 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
The western counties in the CSRA dealt with some flooding rain earlier today, but the good news is that we're done with the rain. We have clearing skies tonight, dew points are falling, and we're going to have a beautiful Saturday, but rain and storms will return on Sunday. I'll have all those details coming up.
Now on News Channel 6 at 6, landscaping concerns in Augusta. Why some city leaders say they're unhappy with the price tag. Plus, Border Bash 2023, why this year's party may be the last for a while. And preventing the spread of RSV, how you can protect yourself and your family as your News at 6 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I am Tiffany Hobbs. Thank you so much for joining us. Brad and Jenny have the night off. Coverage you can count on begins with some of the biggest complaints Augusta commissioners hear. They're about grass not getting cut on city property and right-of-ways. Meteorologist Jenna Petracci joins us for a first check of that weather. Jenna, what can we expect for this weekend?
Well, Tiffany, it's going to be beautiful, at least for half the weekend, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, we did have some flooding rain in some of our western counties. You may have woken up to that early this morning. Heavy downpours in parts of Hancock, Washington, Johnson, Jefferson County, for example. That's where we had flash flood warnings earlier today. Rainfall totals around 2 to 4 inches in these locations where we're seeing the yellow and orange on our rainfall map. The rest of the CSRA pretty much completely dry, literally practically no rain throughout the last 24 hours, just trace amounts in Augusta, and now just a few leftover showers in anywhere from Berg down to Screven, Allendale County. The rest of us starting to clear out now, a good amount of sunshine. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over at AU Health. Our high temperature today was well below normal. We only reached 76 degrees. Our low temperature was 69, so not a big difference there between our high and the low. And that was due to the rain and clouds today. That limited our temperatures, but you can tell that in our northern counties, where there was more sunshine today and less rain, it did get much warmer. And we're at 80 degrees still in Lincolnton, 82 in McCormick, 77 in Edgefield and Aiken, 73 in Waynesboro, 72 now in Allendale. So much cooler towards the south, and also some higher dew points in our southern counties in those upper 60s where there's still some lingering moisture. Dew points are beginning to fall though in some of the Midlands, 62 in Aiken now. So there's that stationary boundary. That's down in Florida now. Showers and storms across much of the peninsula and southern Georgia. We'll start to see drying conditions tonight, and notice the skies begin to clear as well. Mostly clear by 8 o'clock, 72 degrees, 70 by the 9 o'clock hour. So a nice dry start to Saturday. Most of the day will be dry. A few showers possible in the evening, but the bulk of the rain won't move in until Sunday morning. And all weekend long and next week, our temperatures will still stay below normal, only topping off in the low 80s. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up. Back to you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Jenna. Happening now, the 2023. Thank you for that report, Nikita. With the season of respiratory illnesses upon us, pediatric doctors are sharing important information on how to prevent the spread of RSV. RSV is a respiratory virus that causes cold-like symptoms that can become severe. Doctors say that some of the best ways to prevent the spread are washing your hands frequently, wearing masks, and getting vaccinated. They tell us that as many as 160,000 older adults are hospitalized with RSV each year in the U.S. About 2.1 million young children are diagnosed with RSV.
The patients that are at the highest risk are going to be our younger patients. So anyone really under 2 years, they're at risk for having complications with RSV. Also if there's comorbidity, so prematurity, if the baby was in the NICU prior to this, or if they have like congenital heart disease or other lung problems, they're going to be at higher risk of having complications.
The FDA and the CDC recommend a newly approved antibody that can protect children up to 19 months old against RSV. For more information, you can visit our website at WJBF.com. Coming up, a strike officially on for the United Auto Workers Union. Why the three major automakers are calling their demands unrealistic. But first, a look at what's ahead on News Nation.
Tonight on News Nation, two brothers, both grieving the loss of their sisters. First on Cuomo, Amy Harwick's murder made headlines. A popular Hollywood therapist allegedly killed by her ex-boyfriend. With the trial finally underway, her brother talks for the first time only with Chris. Then on Dan Abrams Live, it's been 6 weeks since Rachel Morin's murder, and her killer remains at large. Her brother shares the family's frustrations. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
That is all coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation. You can find it on these local channels.
Who is looking at your accounts to maximize your earnings or to protect your money.
Happy 70th WJBF from our family to yours.
The United Auto Workers Union is officially on strike. It's the first time ever that workers from all three major U.S. automakers have walked out all at once. The strike was officially authorized at midnight after no deal was reached. The union wants a 40% wage increase over 4 years, while companies say those demands are unrealistic.
Shame we've got to be out here right now doing this because the companies won't take care of their workers.
Putting a 20% gross wage rate increase, along with other bonuses that come as a part of that. So this is a very, very strong financial offer.
Right now, only workers from certain locations are on strike, but the protests could grow over time. Well, Jenna joins us for another check of that weather.
Well, Tiffany, we had some rain earlier today. Now conditions are starting to improve, and Saturday looks great, partly cloudy and cooler than normal temperatures. A few showers late at night and rain and storms throughout the day on Sunday. I'll have a look at that futurecast when we return.
There's nothing. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live 5/6.
Good Friday evening. All that rain we saw earlier today has helped limit our temperatures. It's been a below normal day, especially for some of our southern counties. Only topping off in the low 70s today as highs. In Augusta, we only reached 76 degrees. It is a little bit warmer up around Clarksville Lake. Some of our northern counties, say Lincolnton, McCormick, both at 80 degrees right now. Usually this is flip-flopped. Usually it's warmer down towards the south, cooler towards the north, but that's just not the case today. Notice the cloudy icons still from Louisville down to Swainsboro, Wrightsville. Clouds also limiting those temperatures. 77 in Crawfordville, 75 in Sparta, Aiken at 77 and 73 in Barnwell, and you can see that cloud cover starting to clear out north of I-20, Saluda, Edgefield, McCormick looking good. Some spotty showers in Barnwell, Allendale, and Screven County. Other than that, we are rain-free, no more thunderstorms to worry about. This front that brought us the rain all week long is finally down in Florida. That's where the majority of the thunderstorm activity is now, and in portions of southern Georgia. Now let's go on to Hurricane Lee. This is going to make landfall this weekend. Somewhere around Nova Scotia or New Brunswick, should be staying towards the northeast of Maine, but nonetheless still some impacts across Maine and all of New England, especially the rough surf. So this is a Category 1 hurricane. Luckily it is continuing to weaken. Will make landfall as a tropical storm. But let's take a look now at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over in Ocean City, Maryland. The waves have been pretty rough today. I've seen some surfers outside today enjoying those high surf conditions, but be very careful if you're headed towards any of the beaches this weekend. Even in our neck of the woods, high surf advisory for parts of South Carolina and Georgia all the way down to Florida. Ocean City, Maryland also included in that high surf advisory. And then as we go further up towards the northeast, we have tropical storm warnings in effect for parts of New England, also wind advisories and flood watches. So the entire state of Maine covered in those tropical alerts from Lee. And right next door, we have Tropical Storm Margot. No concerns there. Tropical Depression 15 formed this morning. I'm expecting it to take a similar track as Lee, but stay even further towards the east, so no immediate concerns to the United States with that system. but we have another wave off the coast of Africa expected to emerge as well. So still some very busy tropics. The football forecast looks great for tonight, though. If you're headed to any of the games, this one's Game Night Live, Laney versus Thompson. We'll be in the 70s, clearing skies tonight. If you're headed to Arts in the Heart, I would recommend Saturday over Sunday. It'll be mostly dry, showers moving in, though, as we go into our Saturday night and Sunday with a 60% chance of rain. And here it is on our feature cast. If you're headed out for church early in the morning, keep in mind some heavy downpours. This could lead to some flash flooding once again. Possible strong to severe storms can't be ruled out either in some of our southeastern counties. Starting to dry out, though, by Sunday evening, looking much better. Our lows tonight will be in the low 60s, below normal, and below normal highs as well tomorrow in the low 80s. Your 10-day forecast showing the 80s all week long. No more 90s, but not quite in that 70 range yet. We'll have the rain and storms again on Sunday, but then a nice, dry, and sunny stretch Monday through next Friday, leading up to the first day of fall. And congratulations to today's umbrella winner. That's Mina Williams from Augusta, Georgia. You have won a Viper 6 umbrella, and sign up to win yours on WJBF.com.
Congrats, Mina. Well, I am so looking forward to waking up tomorrow morning to that brisk air.
Yes.
Ooh,
60 degrees. It'll be nice.
60, y'all. 60.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, a look ahead to week 5 of football Friday night, and we'll have a live report from our Game Night Live game, the week in Thompson.
Headlines on News Channel 6, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Attorneys. The Live Viper 6 mobile app. Download it today. Now, WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
All week we've been talking about Saturday's border bash between South Carolina and number 1 ranked Georgia. Dogs are favored by 4 touchdowns in the 3:30 kickoff that'll be nationally televised. We'll be in Athens and have a full report tomorrow night at 11. Other games on Saturday include Georgia Southern making the trip up to Wisconsin to take on the Badgers for a noon kickoff. Eagles 2-0 coming off a 49-35 win over UAB. Head coach Clay Helton and his team excited for the opportunity to play a powerhouse program like Wisconsin. In recent years, they've signed local guys like Washington Wilkes, Dalen Cobb, and Evans KD Dorsey, and he says that's why guys, opportunities like this, choose to come to Statesboro.
That's why you come to Georgia Southern. You want to play in big games, and that's why our players came here. Now we get that opportunity. We had one last week, and now here comes another one.
Main thing I try and say is just make sure everybody knows it's still football. The game we've been playing since we were little kids. I try and tell everybody that. The fans, of course, going to be electric. It's going to be a lot of people loud, but the main thing is we get on the field. It's still football.
Eagles are 20-point underdogs. You can catch the game on the Big Ten Network. Be sure to join us tonight for Week 5 of Football Friday Night. Another jam-packed show at 11:35. Don't forget to vote for the 44-strong player of the week at WJBF.com. And we've got a good one on Game Night Live at the Brickyard. Laney lost to number 1 ranked Thompson by 1 point last year. Our Kira Goldstein is live at the Brickyard with more. Hey, Kira.
Yeah, hey Brendan, there's music playing in the stadium. The team, the Thompson Bulldogs, are right off to my right. They're getting a few reps in before the game. We've covered both of these teams earlier in the season in different matchups, but tonight is their first game in region. You mentioned that 1-point loss. It's going to be a big matchup tonight, and you can feel the excitement in this stadium. It is palpable as we inch closer to that 7:35 kickoff time. When I got a chance to talk to both of the coaches, they talked to me about some of the keys of the game, but they also mentioned their excitement about playing in the Brickyard tonight, and they said there is nothing like Friday night football.
It's a great opportunity. You know, the biggest thing is, you know, I try to stress to them is play the next play within ourselves, play the situations. You cannot play the atmosphere. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be great for fans. It's going to be great for the alumni. It's going to be great for us, you know, to be able to play high school football, big time football on TV. You know, at a really good team that we're playing.
I really look forward to the games on Friday night when that ball kicks off at 7:35 because it's on TV. But when that ball kicks off, to see how much we're growing week in and week out, because it's kind of hard sometimes to see it at practice. And now going into the first region game that basically is going to put whoever wins that game in sole possession of the region. So what have we learned as a football team? What have we learned as a staff? And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, simply because I want to see how much we have grown.
Brendan, there are a lot of exciting storylines tonight. Javaris Harris will be making his debut at quarterback for Laney, and there's going to be a lot of excitement on this field when we kick off at 7:30. For now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kira. Look at some of the other games we'll be bringing you tonight. North Augusta, Dutch Fort, Barnwell, Aiken, Evans, Strom, Thurman, Aquinas, Harlem, Grovetown, Jefferson County, just to name a few. And PGA Tour, Grayson City.
Wow, get ready for the fall season at Carolina Pottery. Decorate on a budget with great deals on a full selection of fall and Halloween decor, including pumpkins, flowers, ribbon, flags, and more. Visit carolinapottery.com or a store near you.
Medication management, errands, transportation, and more. From wound care to maintaining mobility, we're here to ensure quality of life. Our caregivers offer supervision, genuine companionship, and specialized care. Prestige Care Home, where compassion meets excellence. Experience the prestige difference today.
WJBF Television, happy 70th anniversary.
From our family to yours, congratulations to the entire team at News Channel 6.
Looking for fabulous fall decor for your home and outdoor spaces? Carolina Pottery has everything you need for the season, all at unbeatable prices. Signs, pillows, wreaths, home accents, you name it, we've got it. Visit carolinapottery.com or a store near you.
Big-time golfing events are nothing new to this area. After all, we are the home of the Masters. But a year ago, another big tournament came to the city. George Escala was there and putted around in this classic Out There Somewhere.
Putt-putt proving to be a popular place, but this isn't date night for the what color ball should I use crowd.
We have about 72 of the greatest putters in the world from across the country that are here.
Welcome to the Professional Putters Association National Championship back in Augusta after 20 years. Professional putt-putt? Yeah, these players get that a lot.
Some say, I've never heard of it, and there are some say, oh, they're still playing that.
This is a major tournament, 5-day competition, and these guys and some gals are good. And it's not just for bragging rights.
This is for money, and it's $18,000. So it's a nice hobby to have, isn't it?
Watching professional putt-putt, you see a lot of veterans. Bryce Ferguson is about to turn 76, and he's on the leaderboard. But he should be good. He's been doing it for decades.
I've been playing as a PPA pro since 1967. I just love it. It's just a lot of fun.
Like regular golf, the goal of putt-putt is to get the ball in the hole in the fewest shots. The dream round, 18 aces. Greg Newport doesn't have to dream about it. He did it 6 years ago.
It's so hard to do. I mean, there's only been 4 that have done it in a tournament competition in over 60 years. So it's a tough thing to do.
The best in the world having a ball at the PPA National Championship. Thanks for coming back. It was aces. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF, News Channel 6.